So I'm graduating. I have no idea what the future holds after this era of. I honestly feel like this era of my life, or this part of my life for the past 4 years, has always just been about surviving. And I think I've always told myself that I'm very adaptive and trying to put myself in different situations and stuff like that and be able to adapt to the environment and to be able to, you know, take care of myself and also be able to do what needs to be done. And I feel like the first 2 years I was doing okay with that, but there was so many different things that have been happening in the past couple of years that has challenged me a lot to the point where I was no longer just adapting to new media environment, new people, new environments in general, or new situations that occur. I was no longer adapting to them. I was just surviving. I was barely breathing for a lot of it. And whenever I first went to college, at a private Christian college, for about 3 semesters, I was doing a lot of self reflection, and I made a lot of progress with that, looking back on it. And then, unfortunately, the school closed. Um, it wasn't by surprise, but I didn't expect it to be the semester that it was going to close. But there was a whole point where I didn't know if I was going to get, my transcripts to be able to send it to another college so I can continue my education and stuff like that. And there was a lot of worry and a lot of uncertainty there. And then I ended up almost failing pretty much two of my classes that semester, but I did end up getting my transcripts for a lot of my classes, or all of my classes, from doing schoolwork, or getting my credits on that college. And then I went to a community college, and then I went to the college that I'm going here now, and now I'm graduating in. And throughout that process, after my college closed, there was a lot of self isolation with myself. And if you're looking to do try to self improve and be introspective, isolation isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it gets to a point where it can be extremely unhealthy. You're just going to be in your head all the time. Just because you're able to like sit down and think about stuff all the time doesn't mean you're going to be able to get anywhere with it. There's always cognitive distance, or things that you can only get from other people that that could help you explore your mind and show you different perspectives. And that's where reading books can be handy. But even then, if you read a book and stuff like that and kind of get your own perspective about it, but not even think about other people's perspectives or hear about it, you're not going to get like anything enriching with that experience. But I think it's when it comes to yourself, isolation and being sociable, there needs to be a balance between the two. But I didn't have that balance. I completely went into isolation, didn't talk to anyone about anything really. And 2022, that semester that I first went to the college that I'm going to, um, I was losing my mind. I couldn't I couldn't think straight. I was so depressed. I don't know. I was just so black pilled about everything, after going through a lot of like philosophical searching and soul searching stuff, and all I took was a black pill, which, if you don't know, taking the black pill just meaning, like realizing, harsh truths, or sometimes being nihilistic about things and stuff like that. And I was lucky to have a counselor to help me through that actually knew a lot of like the existential crises that I was going through. And it wasn't necessarily, a mental, well, it was a mental thing, but a lot of where my mental health issues came from was from existential crisis about, the world, about philosophy and stuff like that. And not a lot of people really engages the world that, not to say the way that I do sound like I'm so different. I don't want to like appear like that, but I was so in depth with myself where I just couldn't see any way or any other perspective. Everything felt um so depressing and so stressful and stuff like that. But luckily the counselor, he had like a background in theology and philosophy, and he was able to, help me navigate through that and stuff like that, and push back on, certain things that I may believe or may reinforce what I believe, but also give me a different perspective. And also, generally talking about things with someone generally just helps you in general. I just said general so many times in that sentence, but if you are looking to, get help or thinking about it and think it's not going to work, usually it just talking to someone, not even a counselor or whatever, but finding someone that you can trust and just talk to them about your problems and issues, that leaves a lot of stress at times. But there's also situations where you need someone to navigate life a little bit for you, and help you make better decisions that can help benefit you and the people around you. But for the past 2 years or so, ever since I've been in this college, a lot of isolation and a lot of trying to self improve, but life just hits you in the face with something. Either, I have like existential crises about the world and stuff like that. So anything very like political, or anything that I'm seeing philosophically that is like super, it's disconnecting our way of like connecting to other people, or making us very apathetic to other people's problems. That shit hits me to the core. And also seeing a lot of those political and apathetic elements draining into social media, and seeing it happen in, through my family, through people that I know, that shit hits and hurts me quite a bit. Not like in a personal way necessarily, but it just saddens me and stuff like that. And confronting people about certain stuff like that doesn't always work. So you're kind of kept quiet in myself, or I kept quiet in myself, not to like be ultra, rude or anything like that and stuff, and pull or tear apart, people's beliefs and stuff. And I don't think it's my place to do that necessarily. I think I can be a mediator, maybe, a different perspective, but that's only if that person wants it. And whenever people don't want that, or I give that advice or that perspective, sometimes they don't take it at all, or they just trample on it. um but that's a lot of what has been going with me for the past 2 years, which have affected, grades, my will to trying to, better myself, physically, mentally, and stuff like that. And the thing that I really wish I can say is that I adapted through a lot of these issues, so I can, better myself. There's other parts of my life where I can better, and it would help me so much more mentally, physically, going to the gym. I love going to the gym. It takes effort, there's a lot of stress involved. Whenever you do that type of stuff, it's very hard on you both physically and mentally. But whenever there's so much going on and stuff like that, all of your mental can only focus on those certain things, and also the needs and things that you need to do to survive. For example, I was stressing about, family issues or political issues or whatever. But I was also doing schoolwork and other stuff that I needed to do so I can keep my education going. And sadly, I felt like I sadly, I think I've only survived and not, adapted. And I think that's the big thing that I want to change whenever I get out of here, is to have time for myself where I surround myself with people that have similar goals to, for example, I already have plans, go to the gym with, a friend of mine, and we both have the same goal of like being better physically and mentally, and I think we can hold each other accountable. And I didn't really have that here, unfortunately, but seeing myself going back home, there's a lot of opportunity for me to grow, and I cannot wait to close this chapter of my life. But I'm also kind of spooked because these past 2 years have been fucking insane for me for a whole variety of different reasons. And I got through it, but what the fuck is next? What is next? I'm not totally sure, and I don't think it's good to dwell on it or whatever. I'm not someone that usually focuses on, the future, or I do look back at the past, but there's a point where whenever you look at the past all the time and you regret something, I feel like, and it's like dwelling over you, I feel like you probably haven't learned your lesson or fully understand what happened. And I feel like if you understand a decent amount or as much as that you can get in that situation, then it's easier to just let that just be the case. Past is the past. But the future, it's fun to predict, but why dwell on it? Um, and try to, gamble, what's going to happen, just take life day by day. But yeah, it's very weird thinking about graduation. That's fucking wild. Pretty insane. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where this channel goes. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I kind of have an idea what I'm going to be doing for like a couple months from now. I'm planning on getting a computer uh at some point, or buying one, and I think the computer is going to be like $2,000, and to help myself get that computer so I can, do stuff like stream and, be able to, do certain stuff that I want to do, maybe play video games. And I think streaming is like the big thing that I'm thinking about doing and kind of pursuing. And I'm trying to navigate content wise what I want to do for the future. I thought about doing like essays, video essays, and variety of different content, but I'm not totally sure. I have to. It's one of those things where I have to kind of evaluate what my strengths are, and I think something I've realized is that my strengths, whenever when it comes to commentary, usually it's probably the best whenever I'm with people or talking with people, because I feel like sometimes people ask questions that I don't expect, or people gives a perspective that I don't expect, and I'm able to like lavish in that that uncertainty and trying to figure things out. But and I feel like streaming and stuff, and talking to people or possibly doing podcasts in the future can be something that I can pursue, where it's more of a collaborative effort content wise, but it's a collaborative effort, or collaborative social element that I think makes my commentary and the things that I say better, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of put my thoughts and feelings out there. This is, whenever I make one of these episodes or whatever, I just kind of, this is just like a place where I vent whatever is happening, in my life personally, or what I think about, musically, or what's happening out there. But yeah, pretty massive life change, and I'm very interested to see where it's going to take me, but I'm also very anxious too. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. If you watched through this whole thing, it's cool. Someone cares. about this. I feel like sometimes whenever I talk about certain stuff, especially making some of these videos, because they're not very organized at all. I'm just, you know, saying what I'm thinking in my mind, and, you know, trying to, you know, get my perspective, or not my perspective, just trying to filter and make sure what I'm saying is, can make sense to the people listening. And I think that's the most important thing whenever making these types of episodes, and I think honestly making any commentary video in general. But yeah, I can probably go on and on and on about a whole bunch of shit, but you know, I'm not going to continue. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this year's content with music. I haven't been, you know, uh um I haven't been making as much content as I usually do, but I assume since I'm going to be back home and not having to deal with fucking college, schoolwork, or anything like that, and probably just going to have to deal with, you know, a job. Um, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.